Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster and I wanted to talk to you today about another small portable folding wood stove. And this is it. This is the Honey Stove. Now I've been searching for this for quite a while. I've had it for years, haven't used it so much recently, and I slipped it away in a box away from the rest of my bushcraft kit. Don't ask me why. It's taken me an age to find it, but I've now got it back. And really I just wanted to give you a bit of an introduction to this today. Now what I thought I'd do, I mean you've probably seen this before, at least heard of it, but I'm just going to give you a quick introduction, do a little bit of an explanation as to why I think it's quite a good stove. And yeah, I mean I think maybe I'll do another video separate to this, actually having it out in the field and using it. I think that'd probably be quite interesting. But let me bring the camera just a little bit closer in and I'll show you what comes in the packet. Right then guys, so this is my Honey Stove. Now I purchased this online via a web forum. So it was second hand when I got it. It's in pretty good condition. I mean I've used it a fair bit and I believe the previous owner did as well. So this is what you get. This comes in a nice little sort of Cordura waterproof case. And inside you get a number of components. Now I'm not 100% sure, although I think this has got what's known as the hive expansion, which turns it into a slightly larger stove. But there's basically two configurations that I use this for. So firstly you've got a little square base plate. You've also got a hexagonal base plate as well, so I'll put those two together so you can get an idea of size. So you can basically have a stove this big or this big, depends on what you're doing, depends on what you want it for. You get a little trangia seat, so this will go inside your stove and your trangia will sit inside it. I very rarely, if at all, use a trangia stove, so I very rarely use this. And then you get a number of these little sections. Now you've got one for feeding wood into it and the rest all look like this. And you get a little grill to go on top as well. So what I thought I'd do, I'm just going to very quickly build these two configurations. I'll speed through the footage a little bit for you so it's not too boring, but just to start I'll give you a quick example. So if I wanted to make the smaller one, you'll notice that you've got these little slots on here, and every panel has two of them on each side, and the idea being is you take, I'll get this on camera for you, so you'll take two of them, reverse one and slot them together, and then you'll take your next one and put it on the right way and slot them together. Now when you get to this stage, if you're making the smaller stove, what you need to do is put this piece in first, and hopefully if I just grab a corner you'll notice that there are three sides with a little indentation like this, and one side that's currently sitting at the top from your view, which is flat. Now the flat one needs to go on the front where you're going to put the door. So again, what you'll do, there we go, if I turn this round so you can actually see what I'm doing, so you'll take the three sides like so and you'll slot them in. Now it can be a little bit fiddly at first. I'd recommend if you get one you just need to give it a little bit of practice and it becomes a lot easier. And then basically you'll take your door, and it's normally a bit more fiddly because you've got to get four of them lined up together. Let me just make sure that's on camera, and there you go. So that's now sitting like so. If I move it, obviously the door can come loose as it's just done. It's a bit of a toss-up between whether it's a really snug fit or if it's quite loose. I prefer it loose, and the thing to remember with this, and I'll say this now before I forget, is that once you've used this and you've had a fire in here, obviously you need to let it cool down before you try taking it apart. It does lose heat quite quickly once the fire's been extinguished, so it's, you don't have to wait for ages. But secondly, what you'll find is that the metal will expand a little bit, and it can be a little bit difficult getting these things out. So if I keep it nice and pinched together, it's not going anywhere, so you can pick it up, you can move it around, you can put it wherever you want it to go. And then you can lay your fire in there. And again, if I just see if I can find a couple of bits, there you go, a little bit of offcut, So you know, you can start off with a fire. You can build this up. I haven't got enough here to actually demonstrate it properly, but you build up a small fire, little nest of tinder in the middle. You can, however whether it's a match or a lighter, or you're using your ferro rod or whatever it is, you just need to get yourself a flame that then pokes through that front door, gets to the kindling and the tinder in there, and then the whole thing will go up. And then what you can do is you can either take things like this and you can kind of just gently feed them in over the top, or you can start feeding things in like this, which is the way it's designed to be used, but you don't have to, and that's how it works. Now obviously you've got slots all the way down here, which basically means you can have your fire as together as low as down here, so you've got the full width of this, and it kind of acts almost as a little chimney, or you can bring it all the way up to the top here, well, let's say here. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but it'd probably work quite well with Hexi or something like that, or Esbit tablets, those kind of things. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this apart, and while I'm talking, in fact not while I'm talking, I'm going to shut up for a second, and I'm just going to very, very quickly build the larger stove. So there we go guys, it was already half built, let's be honest. I just need to slot the front door on, which I'll do while I'm talking. Now in this configuration everything tends to be a little bit tighter, and getting this last bit with the door on can usually be a bit snug, and that's fine. And there we have the full-size honey stove, and I think, you know, most people agree it's quite a nice little stove. The concept is really, really interesting to me. You know, the fact that you can take this tiny, tiny little flat-packed package, and you can take this out with you to the woods, build your stove in situ, and again, same principle works here. You build your fire lay in here, you get it lit, you feed in from the top or from the front, and once it's good and established, you can get your little grill on top. I mean, you don't need this per se, but one thing this is really useful for, and I've done this several times, if there's 2 or 3 of you, and again, I don't have one of my my cups out here to demonstrate, which is a shame. Let me see if I can find something similar. There we go. So I've got just a can here that's sort of roughly the size of a small cup. So if you've got a Crusader cup, or you're using a titanium mug or anything like that, you can get one here, get another one here, get another one there. So 3 of you can have water on the boil whilst this is going. And that's really, really useful. That's kind of the reason for this big stove. Alternatively, you know, if you're cooking for yourself and you've got a large billy, or you've got a big pot or a frying pan, that can quite comfortably sit on top of here, and cook away. Now I have tried cooking properly on this grill, and although it does work, you know, you're limited for space. I think I managed to get like 4 sausages on here. And what I found at the end of it, they cooked, it was fine. You know, I made sure we got down to embers before putting them on. I think a lot of people make the mistake of putting food onto a fire when it's still at the flame stage, which is not ideal. And basically what I found is that when I took this off, it was completely encrusted the same way you know, a barbecue grill would be. I mean, it's fine, you get home, you give it a scrub, it's no problem. But what had happened, a lot of the grease and the fat and whatever from the sausages had dripped down into here. And where it had been hot, obviously it kind of, it almost forms like a, you know, like a weld almost, and it had sealed everything together. I mean, I managed to get it apart, but it was pretty hard graft for the sake of having a few sausages. So, you know, moving forward in the future, I will always cook on a pot or a pan on top of this. Right then guys, so there you go. I hope it was useful. You know, really, really like this stove. The portability, the packability is really, really good. You know, if you do invest in the slightly more expensive version, you get this kind of hexagon shaped version as well as the square one. Now this is the stainless steel version. And you can also get, I think, a titanium version as well. I was tempted, but I already had this, and I mean, you know, I can pick this up, and if I can balance it, and I can hold this on one finger, you know, it's really not adding a lot of weight to my pack. So, you know, certainly if you're on a budget or if you just don't want to spend out, I mean, the stainless steel one is absolutely superb in my opinion. You know, for those of you that are really into sort of ultralight, titanium's available if you want it. But again, as I say, I think I'll do a video using this stove at some point. You know, maybe I'll just do a quick brew up or something like that, just to show you it in use. But it is really, really nice just to take out. If you know, if you're only taking a really small day sack, you know, this goes in there. Maybe you've got your fire steel or a lighter or a box of matches. You know, maybe a cup so you can boil some water for your coffee, and that's really all you need. And I'm getting more and more into that at the moment. You know, is going out and just spending a few hours out. You know, not taking a whole big Bergen style rucksack. You know, 50, 60, 70 litres. You know, I'm taking, you know, a 30 litre, maybe even a 20 litre pack sometimes. This will go with me. I'll have a knife, I'll have a folding saw, you know, I'll have a canteen and a sort of stainless steel or titanium cup with me. And that's probably about it. You know, I might throw the camera in. I'm pretty sure I need to do more of that this year. I know people are more interested to see me getting out and about again, and I will be trying to do some more of that this year for you. So yeah, that was it. Really, really nice stove. Highly recommend them if you're looking for something like this, and an interesting alternative to the wood gas stove that I showed you last week. So I hope it was useful, guys. Please do leave comments and questions in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks, guys.